Hey, welcome. This is another edition of Know and Sell Pointers with Nancy Zare, the sales whisperer.
And Hersh Rephun, the message therapist.
So, Hersh, I'm so excited about. I am over the moon. I am thrilled. I am so excited. I can't wait for us to talk about hype.
Yeah, you are brimming with anticipation. And you're not just hyping these pointers. I'm even hyping the magical potion that I'm ingesting. I won't say the brand name, but I will tell you that it's going to sharpen my focus. It's going to take away my stress. It's going to enhance my energy. And it's all because we're here today on Know and Sell Pointers.
Oh, okay, folks.
Okay,
So,
so
did we
that's
hype it up enough for you?
and for those of us who are just joining, those of you who are just joining us or joining us for the first time, we're kind of a little bit of we're kind of doing a little bit of myth busting this week, because our purpose here is with my expertise in messaging and Nancy's expertise in sales to kind of cut to the heart of what our clients and our friends out there in the universe are looking for, which are no nonsense approaches to heart centered sales and marketing.
There you go. And so let's take a moment to introduce ourselves as our audience is coming to gather together. I'll begin. I mentioned I'm the sales whisperer. I was just on a call with another fellow who does LinkedIn optimization of your profiles. And he was blown away by the fact that why I'm called the sales whisperer is I go to LinkedIn profiles or other material on the web, and I actually can read, I can figure out the personality or what I call a buying style of your prospect, and as a result, guide you, suggest to you what to say and do in order to build the relationship and make the sale. Hence, the sales whisperer.
And one of the interesting things about that is the buying styles of the people that we're talking to really make all the difference. I my expertise is formulating messages, but and I always start with who you are as a brand. But it's equally important to envision who are you going to be talking to. And so that's kind of why Nancy and I came together rather organically to create a know and sell program where people could learn both and implement both. But on these pointer sessions, we like to take a topic and kind of maybe knock out a little of the misconceptions or maybe the practices that are in our view just not working. And hype is one that I have always, as a publicist for many years and as an advertising creative and executive, I have always tried to steer more toward the grounded reality and not so much toward the overblown expectations. We even talked about that a little bit on Tuesday when we talked about pricing and saying, under promise and over deliver. Well, it's the same thing with hype. If we grab everybody's attention with an improbable promise, then what's the point? And that's kind of a little bit of where I shake out. What's been your experience with hyperbole, Nancy?
So I was going to share with you, Hersh, a message I got in my inbox just this week. In fact, it was interesting because one of my colleagues actually framed her newsletter around the very same message and included it in her message to me. And it was a message that basically said, I can 10x whatever business you're doing, and I can do it in 90 days, and I can generate thousands of leads, and I can convert them into, clients. And you know what? It was a huge turnoff. And it turned me off not only because of the exaggerated suggestions that this person was going to deliver, but it turned me off because I never invited this person in my inbox in the I removed
Oops.
myself and forgot to put you back in. So
Yo,
here's
okay.
the reason why I found it so offensive is that the person made an assumption that this is what I want to do as an entrepreneur. I want to 10x my business. I want to do it in 90 days or less. I want to get these stunning results. You know, the people that I work with, Hersh, we can see through that. Am I correct?
Yeah. Yeah, and not only that, but that's another good point. The invitation to share is something we're very sensitive to. I do outreach to people and meet them, introduce myself, but I try to do it in a way that does not presuppose that they are even open to a sell or a pitch or product. And that's one of the problems I have with AI is that it's programmed. It's literally programmed for the sale, and we know that when we are approached. So it would be better for people to know one another a little bit first. And hence, if someone comes up to you and says, "Oh, well," and you say, "What do you do?" And they say, "Well, I'm the king of, I'm the king of sales. I'm the king." It would be better for someone else to say, "Oh, you got to meet Nancy. She's the sales whisperer. She's phenomenal. Here's why I love her so much." That third party validation will be very, very different from hype. Hype
Yeah.
hype comes from hype comes from somebody very close to the product. Now they may be a rep, but they're also coming at you with a very exaggerated and almost desperate view of what they feel they can do for you. And that's something to just keep an eye out for, I think. That
I'm
big, oh my God, this is going to be so transformative. That's rare, you know.
You said that word desperate, and desperate is I think that's what happens when I see these over the top exaggerated messages about what it is that this particular service or item is going to do. And that doesn't mean it's not a good service or item to begin with, but it's that extra push about it being better than sliced bread, the only one of its kind. And by the way, it's going to expire, in 3 minutes if you don't take action. These are the sorts of messages that actually take away from and create within me as the viewer or the listener a sense of, oh, this person is, desperately trying to get my business. If you don't mind, I'm going to give one other example that, again, happened in my inbox this week. And it's something I consented. I was curious to find out more about how this particular system worked. And the message to me, Hersh, was, we took you off the waiting list. You made it. We took you off the waiting list. There were only 100 people that are going to have access to this special tool. And, you are now been selected as one of those special people. And, here's your entry into it. And again, it smacked to me of that kind of hype because guess what? I don't think there was a waiting list. I don't think there were 100 people that have taken advantage of whatever it is that they're offering. And they're, excuse my language, damn lucky to get me to say that I was willing to look at it.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, so people may be wondering, well, what is the converse approach? What is the approach that you guys advocate? And it really has to do with, in my view, building your own confidence, because the more confidence you have in your product, the less desperate and salesy you will be when presenting it. We talked a little bit in the past about not being afraid to value your product and speak up about it. Yeah, Nancy, you
So
wanted
I
to.
want to say there are three things that require confidence. Confidence in your offer, confidence in your company, and confidence in yourself to deliver it. Because most of the people we're talking to are delivering their service personally, right? So and confidence sells. Confidence is a form of energy, and energy is what people are buying. People buy emotion, and they justify it with reasoning and with logic, but they're buying emotion. And the biggest emotion that will hit them in where they live is confidence. Confidence that you're the right person, you have the right product, and this is going to solve the problem.
And that is another reason why I think, you know, what you bring to it, Nancy, in terms of your psychology background and the personalities that we're dealing with are other indicators that hyperbole is certainly not always what people want, even if they do like the big sell, the big change, because not everybody responds the same way. But I think, Nancy, you can speak to this too. I think people, when approached with kind of a quiet dignity and a little bit of humility, respond better in general. And I'm actually interested in your opinion because we haven't talked about this, you and I. Talk a little bit about the reaction to that in your face kind of thing versus a little more subtle.
Well, you're absolutely right, Hersh. There are 4 different personality styles, and there is definitely a style that as soon as they feel any sense of pressure or a hard sell, they are out. They run away and they want nothing to do with you or your offer, even if they absolutely came to you with the thought of, I'm going to get it. When they feel the pressure of you're trying to get them to buy, they balk. So yes, this is something that is really a challenge. Now, I'm called the sales whisperer, not only because I can communicate and help you learn to communicate with things like a profile that isn't talking to you directly, but I'm also called the whisperer because I believe in what's called soft selling. And I actually, there's a trademark, conversational soft sell. And that's a whole system that I represent through the likability system of learning how to ask for permission while you're speaking, speak naturally in an unscripted way, and adjust what you speak to match the prospect's personality or buying style. So did that answer your question?
Yes, it did rather eloquently. Is
Oh,
there
thank you.
a can I plug that a little bit? Is there a place where people can find that system since you
Sure.
mentioned it?
It's obviously, if you go to my website, nancyzare.com, you can get more information. Or, of course, you can schedule time to talk with me or with Hersh. Both of us are very active on LinkedIn, and we invite you to connect with us. Send us a text message, or, of course, respond right now if you're watching live or on the replay.
And Nancy, you touched on something that I think might be a great topic for our next know and sell pointers session is the topic of scarcity and urgency, because that is something that that comes up quite frequently. A lot of coaches will touch on it and express the importance of it, but I think we can get into it possibly Tuesday. Get into that question: is urgency and scarcity necessary for the sale?
Perfect. So, folks, you heard it here. If you're interested in more of these pointers, every Tuesday and Thursday at noon Eastern Time, we will appear live. And of course, if you come live, that gives you an opportunity to comment or ask a question. Or if you watch the replay, let us know. Of course, we will monitor the comment section and look for any comments that you have and answer your questions. So, any last thoughts?
No, I hope this has been really useful. I enjoy it. I enjoy the interplay, Nancy, and I think it's fun. I think it's fun to talk about things that are important but aren't sacred. You know, that don't have they maybe have some conception about it, but it's good to challenge the status quo or challenge the norms, the best practices, because I think we're all trying to find what is going to work for us.
for us, i.e., be authentic, be uniquely you. And with that note, to your sales success, we'll see you on the next edition of Know and Sell Pointers.
Take care, everyone.